and gentlemen out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for joining me. This is TheCiroths and Mrs. Ciroth here today.
Hello.
Welcome to our inaugural episode of Geeky Cooking. So, we are going to be making some oatmeal dinner rolls today from a nice cookbook that we picked up from called Natural Lifestyle Cooking from Ernest Finley. We're actually taking classes. Ernestine Finley, sorry. Ernestine Finley. We're taking some classes with them, and they gave us permission to go ahead and use their recipes live. And here you see the recipe book right here. Now, baking is very much an exact science. Cooking, yeah, a little this, little this, little that, you're good. But baking, you need to be exact. Exact temperatures, exact everything. So what we're going to do to start with here is we're going to get some water. We want warm water, but not hot water.
You can use the water from the kettle.
It's too hot.
Oh, okay.
We kind of pre-boiled some water.
Actually, I'm going to put that back on the boil.
So I'm running a little bit of water here to get a little bit warm. You want it warm, but not too warm. I'm going to do an exact temperature here.
Okay, the cat wants to play.
So you're going to start with half cup of water, warm water. Now, because I'm fairly new at that, I'm refreshing myself. I'm going to stick a thermometer in and check the temperature here. It was already on, so that's good. So take some yeast, measuring cups ended up somewhere. I don't think the measuring cups.
I got it.
The measuring cups actually don't show up anywhere. So, measuring spoons, yes. So it's about 102, 103. Looks to be about 102 degrees. So.
Okay, we've lost them. They're nowhere. We can measure nothing.
We did have this all set up, or thought we did.
Thought we did. I don't know where they went. Okay.
So yes. So anyways, it's about 104, 105 degrees. That's good. So we're gonna want 3 tablespoons of yeast, if we can find our measuring cups. We got everything else set aside.
We have more in here, honey.
So not the ones we were looking for, but ideally speaking, you're going to want to kind of level, but so that's not quite level, so I'm going to do a little bit of compensation here. So 2.
Actually, the best way to go about this, let me show you. When you have to be exact with measuring, is you go ahead and you overfill your spoon, like so, and then you just get the knife and you make it level.
Yeah. So grab a fork, kind of mix it up, and try to get the yeast all warm, and just kind of set it aside in a warmish environment. So while that's working, we're gonna pour boiling water over oats in a second bowl. So all right. So here's this. This is what we're gonna use here. Our oats. We're gonna want 2 cups of quick oats. So a nice 4-cup container. Now, again, just gonna level that out. Gotta check to make sure you're pretty much got an exact little thing going on here. Now, a lot of times you will pre-measure most of your ingredients, but today we're just gonna go ahead and grab and go. All right, so now we need 2
4 cups.
water.
Boiling water.
4 cups of boiling water.
Yep.
So that's gonna go over that. While she's doing that, now you can do this all by yourself. So don't be panicking because I have an assistant here. So open up our brown sugar. Now I use dark brown. Go and pour that in. I use dark brown sugar here. So they're asking for. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. 3/4 of a cup. I got a cup.
Oh, here's.
Is that the 1/4 cup?
No, we don't have that. Apparently, it's
I have
in the
half cup.
dishwasher.
Okay. So, gotta get out of the dishwasher. Sorry, we're a little discombobulated. We thought we had it all.
It's a little dirty.
We thought we were good, but see again, most people who cook are a little discombobulated at the same time. So, being a little discombobulated is okay. Kind of marks that up.
Here's your 4th cup, sir.
All right, so there are measuring cups that say 3/4 on there. But what I'm going to do is dry it again. And all right, so the directions say now add brown sugar, salt, and oil. So we'll need a tablespoon of salt.
A lot of salt.
So with brown sugar, when you mix it up, when you grab it, you have to mash it down so it gets tight, and then you can put it in there. So I'm gonna put 3 of these in here. So the 3 1/4 cups, that equals 3/4 a cup. So.
Yeah. Or like with I showed you with the knife, you can also just use your finger to make sure that you have exact measurements. With other stuff we show you, you'll see that we just kind of throw stuff in willy-nilly.
So.
But bread's precise.
Bread is precise. So what she's doing here, she's using a half teaspoon measurement. That's why she's doing it twice.
Because it fits better in this little salt container.
All right, so that's that done. Now we're going to need a 1/3 cup of olive oil. So she's going to pour that for us. Again, just because we're doing it together does not mean you can't do it by yourself. Just I would recommend you maybe pre-measure some of this stuff out, like have your olive oil ready, have your sugar ready, that kind of thing.
At the very least, have everything pulled out of the cabinet. That helps a lot, particularly with timing. I know well because I don't tend to do that, and always wish that I had.
And as you can see, we kind of were scrambling. Like, okay, we thought we had it all, and we're scrambling.
And that happens all the time.
So I'm gonna pour that in. I'm actually going to kind of put the mixing cup in there or the measuring cup and kind of get that all looking good. So now it says to
1.5 cups of wheat germ.
All right, we're gonna mix this up. All right, now it says to stir in our wheat germ, gluten flour, soy flour, and whole wheat flour. Now this is a healthy recipe that's actually surprisingly good. So we'll start with the wheat germ. It wants.
You want to use the big measuring cup?
Which big measuring cup?
The one that you push up?
Which is not
here.
Here.
Okay, I'll find it. Keep going.
Yes, so we have actually bought a special measuring cup for this that we thought we had this all set out here.
I just thought of it.
And that's an ingredient. That's a cup we didn't think we just brain farted on. So. Oh, jeez. It was right next to me. I'm an idiot sometimes. So this is a really nice thing. It shows you exact measurements, and you can use it for dry or wet. So you're going to want 1.5 cups of wheat germ. So you twist this down to 1.5 cups, and pour in your ingredients. I prefer using it for dry ingredients because it's just simply easier. But for ingredients like honey and the like, it's also really good for measuring out honey. Okay, so that is 1.5 cups of wheat germ. So you just go and twist that in. Now I'm going to stir this in. Gluten flour, 1 cup gluten. Blue box. I'm going to have Miss Ciroth measure that out.
Where's the cup?
Yeah, grab and twist.
No, I'm just looking for the right measurement. See, it just has measurements all the way around. So, alright, look in here. 1 cup. It's a fun toy.
Yeah, it is a very fun toy. We bought it on Amazon. I can provide a link to that in the description below. Actually, I probably will.
So when with the whole wheat recipes, they have us adding in gluten flour just to give it the extra little bit of help rising and light fluffiness. And I believe that the gluten flour is made from whole wheat flour. Well, most flours are.
So you can see back here, this is what your yeast should be doing when you're done with that going. It's rising nicely. It's looking very plump, very fluffy.
That's good.
Okay. So just dump that in. Oops, a little bit powdery. It's fine. It is a very powder, has a lot of powder in it. So you kind of have to not want to get that everywhere. So next is soy flour.
All right.
Here's your soy flour. I'm gonna need a what?
Okay, don't worry. Keep going.
Scissors. We're gonna need a half cup of soy flour. Again, this is where having all the ingredients pre-measured out would be nice. And again, you could do this while you're cooking. Don't worry about pre-measuring, but it does get a little bit. It is a little bit easier if you do pre-measure. So instead of using the nice toy, she's going to open up the soy flour and just use the small cup.
It'll fit in this one, so.
So just kind of mix all that in.
You're fine. Keep going.
No, it's just waiting for the soy flour. So she's going to give us that in just a second. Again, she's going to do that nice whole nifty leveling thing. Now it's less powdery than the gluten, so now you can see it's starting to get a little bit stiff. That's good. Okay. Now this will be whole wheat flour.
For that, I will use this.
We're gonna need
For
3
that,
cups.
I will use this.
We need 3 cups of whole wheat flour.
Just because various.
Now we've transferred a whole wheat flour into a container. Friends of ours actually brought
It's a
pretzels
leftover container.
Pretzels in. It's really great. I would recommend actually putting all your flour and various ingredients into containers that you've labeled, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to see. That's like
3 cups.
it's a little shy of 3 cups looks like.
All done.
Yeah, it's close.
No, I will make it exact. We told them to be exact.
All right, so looks yes. So we're making it exact because. So then once this is all done, once we get this all turned in, this is good. Now I'm not going to dump it all in at once. I'm going to put some in, and then mix it in a little bit at a time. That way you don't get dust everywhere, that kind of thing. You notice now I'm not using a giant mixer or anything like that. I'm doing this all by hand. 1, I don't have one. 2, the average geek out there is not gonna have one either. So
for this recipe, we are also, in addition to using whole wheat flour, we're going to be using some unbleached enriched white flour.
that doesn't
That comes
go in yet.
later. Okay.
That comes in on the step after we added the yeast.
That also helps lighten it, so you get the nutrition from the whole wheat, and the fluffy goodness from the white.
So you see, I'm just kind of a little bit at a time so that it's just not everywhere. I added a little bit too much here, and the more you add the flour, the stiffer it's going to get. This is where you're going to go, God, I wish I had one of those giant mixers. Especially since most geeks like me have carpal tunnel and that kind of stuff, so you go, oh, so stiff. But if I can make it, you guys can make it. And as you can see, we've made no cuts so far in the video, so there's no fancy editing or anything like that. Or So we will have a cut for when we put the bread to rise, because that's like an hour, or 90 minutes actually. So, because you guys don't want to just sit there and go, all right, what are you doing now for an hour? But otherwise, I'm trying to do this all in one take. So
while he's doing that, when we do let the dough rise, we place it into a lightly greased bowl. So I'm just gonna get that ready.
yeah. So again, this falls at that also falls in all your prep work of getting all your ingredients already pre-measured and that kind of stuff.
Which obviously you don't have to do. You can just kind of measure stuff as you go, if that's what you feel like doing.
Yeah, like you're seeing us do here. And you can see this. I'm gonna work this in. It's very sticky. So don't worry about trying to get every bit of flour mixed in, because you're gonna be kneading it also. So now that that's in, it's been what, 10 minutes since we started?
I can't see the clock.
So now there is, I've noticed that there was some unactivated yeast here, but it's fine. So this now gets dumped in, and now we put in half a cup. It was all over this label here, so that's good. That's what you want to see. A little bit of moisture also helps with the final mixing here. All right, so get that yeast nice and mixed in. All right, so I'm gonna rinse my hands out. All right, so now that the yeast is in, it's all mixed in, and let's add.
No, we need it. This needs to hand me the other flour. I need to finish filling it.
Okay, so apparently we were a little short of the enriched flour. So what we've noticed is adding the bleached flour, the white flour, is okay. It's not the best for you, but it's okay. So all these different things that you're seeing us add, you can change. So
Well, you can do stuff like you can add nuts and seeds to the dry ingredients. If you want to add flavor, do that before you start putting the flour in.
yeah.
There you go.
Now we're going to gradually make a moderately stiff dough. So it's probably not going to be all of this, because at a certain point you just won't be able to mix it. So you have to change it. You're going to have to start kneading it in, which means you'll knead this flour into the dough, which is really fun. You're just kind of making it a little bit stiffer here, so that A, it's not sticking to you, B, you have some sort of semblance to work with here.
Sound like you're working.
It is definitely stiff. It needs to be stiffer before I can actually start kneading it, but
Actually, when I was making the bread the other day, at this point I didn't turn it out onto the surface yet, but I did feel like the spoon wasn't very much help, so I went in with my hands.
yeah. And if you have any rings, take them off. Watches, take
Hopefully
them off.
before you touch the dough.
Yeah, and she's right. At this point, the spoon is just too much. So just kind of grabbing it and just kind of hand mixing it at this point.
And if you have a lovely assistant, you can do this without getting everything doughy.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of we're not really kneading it here, just kind of at this point, just kind of still mixing it, but we're just kind of getting our hands in there. Although I think if you can get the cutting board.
Okay.
At this point, it's moderately stiff. It's not as sticky, so we're going to slide this over, and she's going to put a cutting board down for us.
We found that putting the cutting board down really helps with cleanup because we have a couple seams in our countertop, and so getting flour like down into the seams. And for whatever reason, it also helps keep the flour going off into the floor because we have just a second edge, you know, to not go over.
If you put some flour on the
I'm gonna
keyboard.
move the mouse over here though.
So it is a little bit sticky still.
Now this cutting board has been used a lot, so there's a ton of grooves. So I just take a moment to really get that flour down into all of the grooves to help it be a smoother process on the dough so it doesn't like start tearing the dough.
Yeah, I'm going to clean off my hands here of what dough is sticky, because as you see, it's kind of sticky. So I'm going to rinse my hands off a little bit here. Yes, I'm losing a little bit of dough here.
And you're gonna get flour everywhere. That's just a part of it. You want me to dump this out? Oh, it continued to rise, our yeast did. But it is a little late. And before he comes in, I'll just go ahead and add a little more flour. So you have something to work with in the beginning.
All right, so I'm going to dry my hands off. And so just try to reduce the stickiness. And then I'm going to take some of this flour. And then kind of just rub it in your hands so your hands are nice and floury. And just use the heel of your hand and just kind of grab and push.
Yeah, so you take your fingertips to kind of pull dough over, and then you push down with this part.
Kind of like you're massaging the dough, kind of deep tissue massage. See the dough sticking to me here? That means I didn't have enough flour there to work it up to deal with prevent it from sticking to me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and smash that down. Give me a little bit more flour. And we're just kind of get a little
Work
bit
the dough.
flour on me. And yes, work the dough. So it says 4 cups of unreached bleached flour.
That does depend on how humid it is. We live in essentially a swamp. So the first time we made bread, it had been raining for a couple of days, and we ended up adding a ton more flour. The last time I made dough, hardly any extra I needed.
Yes. So like if you're like watching me in Denver or high humidity areas,
or high altitude areas.
Yeah, Denver or high altitude, like Denver, or swamps like DC. You're gonna need more. Or also, if you're doing this when it's been raining a lot that last couple of days, you're gonna need more. It hasn't rained here in a couple of days, so the humidity's not extremely high.
More on the surface.
Yeah.
A bit sticky right there. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. So you're just kind of, again, just this is the if you're kind of having a bad day, this is actually a really good way to work out your aggressions. If you didn't make it to the gym yet, you can kind of go quickly at this and just go ahead and make that. And my other computer saying, "Hi, sorry about that." It's saying, "Hey, I have emails." All right, I'm kind of working this in. So you see how how we've gotten this dough from this uber sticky mess to something that's barely sticking to me now. I'm just going to keep working this in. Don't be afraid. Don't be upset if the dough kind of gets everywhere, or not the dough, the flour kind of gets on your counters, because you're making bread. This is a little bit on the messy side. So what we're doing here is, what this is going to be is we're trying to get this until it's smooth and satiny. Or
Yeah.
Is that what that word says?
We're
Staining?
yeah, satiny.
Satiny, okay. So it's not quite smooth. It's still sticky.
It's okay if it's a little bit sticky, but if you're still like globs of,
Like it's doing to me here.
well, dough, really.
Put it up.
And as far as the texture of it, knowing when the doneness is, that's just experience. That's just playing around with it. The best clue that we can give you right now is so that it doesn't really stick to your hands too much.
Okay.
You should be able to kind of pick it up and just play with it a little bit.
All right, what we're going to do this time is going to have her put the flour in my hands.
Go ahead and like wipe off some of that.
Yeah. Kind of let it get back in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to reflour the hands to help with the stickiness. Help keep them off. Help
Spread
keep
that
it.
around. Let me get some. Oh, you got it.
So that way you're not sticking to your dough. And see how it's stuck there? That means I need to rotate that dough so that the backside wasn't getting the dough.
Okay.
Or getting the flour, I should say. So you just got to keep that in mind when you're kneading, is to make sure you get a good rotation of everything, so you're just not kneading the same spots over and over again. As you can see here, it's now starting to turn into a very nice thing. I don't even know if we're going to use all the flour this time.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Still, and you see there, it stuck a little bit to me, but it didn't stick. So we're getting actually at a good point here. All right. Knead in this last little bits. Turn it around a little bit. And after we're done with this bit, we're going to put it in that bowl that you saw us oil a little bit ago.
More.
So a little bit more flour in there, and it's a slow process. You can, again, she's helping me, but you can do this by yourself.
Yeah, we've each done this by ourselves. And
Well,
it's fine. We just kind of get into a rhythm, basically. I was listening to a book on an audiobook. I believe he was listening to Twitch.
Actually,
As
I
he
think I was
does.
listening to the same book
Oh, okay.
when I was doing that. So
Yeah, we have a series of audiobooks that we love, and we have to fight for the device that they're on.
well, that's a problem. Just dropped a little bit of dough that stuck my hand onto the floor.
See?
Well, that's
Those are
telling
the
me
times when you wish
is-
you had a dog.
Yes, yes. Well, that's telling me is that nice flour is not. That flour is just not mixing. It kind of tells me that.
Why don't you pick the whole thing up and let's scrape some of that wet dough off the bottom?
Yeah, that's actually what I'm going to do. And so we're actually getting to the point now where it's about done. I'm going to put some flour down. With it sticking, it's with it sticking a little bit right there, it does make it a little bit harder to knead in there. So just reapply your flour like you just saw us do, and the flour should stop it from sticking. I think this is gonna be about it. I think we've got the right consistency here. So just knead in the last bit of your dough. Your results may vary, and it's just gonna take some. It just takes some time in doing this multiple times to understand exactly how much this is. Now, as you can see, we've been at this for what, half hour now? It's actually been, most of the times we're just kneading, just having fun. We are going probably a little bit slower because we are explaining what we're doing, but
No, not really. I mean, this is you talking as you need.
yeah, true. Now you can see the consistency of this dough. It's very.
You see your hands? Oh,
It's
good.
not sticking to the hands. It's not sticking really anywhere. I'm going to kind of just knead in the last little bits of flour here. I don't think we need the rest of that flour.
Okay. It was almost gone. You can see that? Okay.
Actually, here. Now, put it in.
You want it?
Go and do it in.
Okay. Why? Just because there's a little bit or because you need it?
Yes.
Okay.
Found a little bit of spot that kind of needed a little bit of flour, so you got to just kind of knead it the rest of the way back in. I'm going to put the rest of it on.
On the edges there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, flip it over.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just kind of go and take the rest of it.
And it's gone. And if we need more, that's fine. We've got more.
Yeah. The first time we made this, actually we went through 4 cups, then we added another cup, added another cup. The dough was a little bit dense, and I think we kind of screwed up a little bit there, but it just would not solidify because the humidity was so hot.
Yeah, and we started kneading it before it really had enough dough, flour in it.
Now the biggest thing is now try to get the last bit of the flour in there. As you can see also, it's staying in a nice shape. And you can see I'm actually starting to really having to put my body weight into this. That tells me that it's actually about done. I'm just kind of making sure that the flour we just added is worked fully into it. And as you can see, it's not really sticking at all to anything. That's the consistency we're looking for. All right.
So now we just shape it into a nice ball.
So, there you guys go. This is kind of the shape we're looking for. The consistency, it's not sticking to my hands. So just kind of put in a nice little bowl here. My grandma always did this when she made her bread, kind of like spanking the baby, and then putting it into a bowl.
Okay. And we are just going to use one of these towels to cover it. And we put it in a warm but not hot place, which we've decided is over here.
So that ends this portion of it. We'll be letting this rise for about 90 minutes, and then we're going to do the shaping, and then we're going to let that rise again, and then then it gets put in the oven. So what you're probably anyways, thank you all, and we'll be back in a minute.
Bye-bye.
About 70 minutes between the cut here. So it says to rise till double. It says about 90 minutes. As you guys can see, it's doubled. And we did show this off in our granola show. So now, make sure you take off your...
While you get ready for that, we're putting them in oiled muffin tins. So I'm going to go ahead and do the oiling.
So now we just go punch down. You're literally just pushing the air out. And like, there you go. Now,
Am I on your way?
no. I'm just going to pop that out. And the easiest way to do this is to take your bread and literally just cut it off. And
now this recipe calls for 24 rolls. So it would probably be prudent to separate the dough into 24 pieces before rolling it out.
what do you mean?
To divide it in 24 and then make the shape with them. So that you can get 24 even pieces of dough.
Yeah.
Or you can just fill the muffin tin and go with it.
Now we are doing a little bit of an experimentation here. See, now you do want to make sure you have a vigorous roll to kind of get all the creases out of So you can pull on it if you don't want to use a knife, but it does work better to use a knife here.
I'm oiling the pan with olive oil because that's the oil that we used in the bread, and it's just a light.
I think it's funny is you said split it up in 24 bits before rolling it out, and I'm sitting here doing rolling it out.
It happens.
So just kind of just carve it up. Try to pull it off into bits
The
here.
bit I'm not entirely sure how to do, so.
Yeah. So just literally just grab and go.
And I didn't turn my cell phone off. Maybe.
I didn't turn my cell phone off either.
So someone just group texted us.
So it's kind of, again, just kind of slice it to, you kind of want them all about the same size here. So that's a good chunk there. And so just kind of do it up in 3 bits. Now this technique I'm pretty much be used on a lot of things. You'll see, like, we do occasionally do live streaming on our cooking shows, and one of our cooking shows is that we did a bread thing. You probably you should be able to find it on the playlist here, because we did do a joint stream to Twitch as well, and live on YouTube's. So you can use this. You'll see this technique on several different things. So just roll it out. Just kind of a vigorous roll, and you kind of want to try to get them about the same shapes, because you are making dinner rolls. Don't be afraid to kind of smash it in a little bit to kind of help smooth them out. And because the creases do turn into a little bit of an issue. Now you don't want them too big, otherwise they will turn into they'll be a little dense when they cook, and you'll have a center point that's a little bit doughy. Like, for example, I think this one's a little too big. So, still apparently the group text is going on. My
There's
bad.
a friend coming over. Sorry.
My bad. So
Okay, so how do we roll these? I totally forgot. Oh, that's right. The last time I was like rolling it down on each other like I was kneading, and that was not good.
So just like you're playing with Play-Doh. This is really adult Play-Doh is really what it is.
You're so delicate with them.
Look. Again, technique is whatever technique works for you. But the biggest thing is trying to not make. You're kind of trying to Goldilocks it here. You don't want them too big, but you don't want them too small. Otherwise, they'll cook differently and cook uneven. So you see, it's just kind of toss them over here for the moment. We'll worry about spacing.
Also, we only have 1 muffin tin, so some of these are not going to be in muffin tins.
So again, this is where we can make. Actually, we could do something. So actually, what we could do is, if I hadn't actually, you want to play with this? Let's play with this.
Oh, what are we doing?
So we're going to mash these guys together again. And actually, I'm going to pull these in. We have plenty here. Just going to knead it back together. We need to replace our rolling pin. So I'm going to use an empty wine bottle. Just kind of roll it out a little bit here. Just kind of make it. We're just
I'm just playing with the balls to make sure that they are about the same size, because you never want mismatching balls.
Nope. So what we could do is like this, and continue to roll it out a little bit. Again, I'm kind of just making something up right here, just kind of popped in my head. So you don't want it too thick. And kind of stretch this out.
Are you braiding it?
Actually, yes.
Oh, did I just give you an idea?
That actually was what I was trying to work out in my head. I just wasn't sure what I was doing at the moment. So just, that was my idea. I just hadn't fully fleshed the idea out. So now I'm just going to chop that into 3 bits. And of kind of do something like this. It's not quite perfect, so, but it's fine. And so I'll just chop this bit off. I'm gonna tuck these down like so, and I'm just gonna stretch that out a little bit. It's kind of braided. So then I would take the remnants out, and again, this is just something that, with practice, you'll get better at. Obviously, I need to practice my braiding.
Well, here's the time.
Yep. So, and you'll be able to do this a lot with the other breads also, like the whole wheat bread that we've done. It does work. Probably would work a little bit better there with that particular consistency. But so this one's a little bit on the smaller side compared to everything else. So take a little bit more and wrap this up. Now what we will do is, are we going to put olive oil over this?
Yeah, I think we should.
Or should we do an egg wash?
I'm going to stick with the olive oil.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
I know.
Sometimes that's how decisions are made.
I know some breads you do an egg wash over to get a nice little consistency on, like especially like pizza doughs and that kind of stuff. So not quite enough, but she's trying to choose the same consistency for
the same size for the muffin tins.
For the muffin tins, yes. So you get the same rising. It's since we're not doing this all by hand, it gets a little bit. Oh,
that's big. That works.
It gets it's a little hard to get a little of the same size consistency wise, but you kind of really want to try to really pull them off into the same size. So. So we're going to...
Not this one.
Okay.
There we go. So, they're all fairly similar sizes.
We did not oil this pan.
We did not. No, we still have to oil the pan.
So
Are those about the same size?
They are...
Are you doing another braid?
No.
Okay.
Just pulling these off so we can oil the pan. Just oil it and then smear it, as you can see in the camera over there, barely, but
just a light smear so it's not like coated in oil. It's best.
So,
and
gotta make sure you leave a little bit of space here for rising, but then can be a little bit close, and we're probably gonna have to because I don't.
And one goes down.
Alright, so you throw this away. And so now this will get...
So since my hand is covered in oil, I'm going to go ahead and brush the braid.
Now you can get a...
Can you get a brush, actually? We have one somewhere.
We have a barbecue brush here. Here you go. Go ahead and wash your hands.
Yeah. Do you want a little bowl for the oil?
I'll just kind of pour it directly on the thing here and kind of use the oil on the pan. Just kind of brushing it all here. Are we going to brush those?
Yes.
Now our directions don't call for this brushing.
Go ahead and throw the contaminated one away.
But we find that it adds a little bit of a colorization to it.
Yeah, the last time it was just a slightly more even color and slightly darker on a bread that we have. So we're giving it a shot, see how it works out.
Yeah, we're not sure how this works. Egg wash is probably a better color, but all right. So So now that that's done, what we do is we take our covers here and
cover it for about until it doubles in size again, and so that's going to be about 40 minutes on this rise. So we need another towel. I got it.
Yeah. So we'll be back after the rise to show you what they all look like, and then we'll be going into the oven. So you guys see you after the cut. Hello guys, we are back. See, it's kind of getting a little bit dark in the lighting. Sorry, it's getting a little dark out during the day. It's been half an hour, so let's go check on our rolls.
Smells so good in here.
It smells really good. So you take a toothpick and make sure you avoid getting your face right in here.
A little steamy.
A little steamy. So you stick the toothpick in, and you want to see it come out clean. And these have come out clean. So what you're gonna do is now, let's take them out. Here are the muffin tins. So see the nice, beautiful darkness here. So the olive oil was good.
And as you can see, this was on the bottom rack, so it didn't quite get as much color, but it's still pretty nice.
Okay. So do we pull these out or not? Let them cool off.
I don't know.
These things may need to cool.
Yeah, we'll just let them cool on the cooling rack for a little bit, and then we'll dump them out. And what we have learned with the bread is that it does need to cool a little bit before it reaches its maximum tasty goodness.
So let it cool down, and so it's gonna do a little bit more cooking here. So it's gonna cook itself because it's still got all that heat in it. But this is making oat rolls. So thank you all for watching. I am TheCiroths. This is TheCiroths. And make sure you guys like and subscribe for future cooking shows, such as granola or grilling or something like that. So you guys make sure you have a great day, and thanks for stopping by. Good night, everybody.
Good night.